If you're looking for the November 2023 Social Security payment schedule, you've come to the right place. I am going to give you the specific dates on which your payments will be deposited into your bank accounts. And then I have two important breaking news with Social Security and disability benefits. The first one involves President Biden's plan to change Social Security and disability benefits next year in 2024. And then the second one, which there was a recent 60 Minutes episode that highlighted this issue of Social Security overpayments. Essentially, people are getting letters from the Social Security Administration telling them that they've been receiving more Social Security benefits than they deserve. And so the Social Security is asking them to pay the money back of what they owe. So I am going to give you an update on that, so stay tuned. So let's jump right into it. So here's what I want to cover. Your Social Security benefits are arriving soon, so I want to give you the exact dates you can expect that benefit. And then I'm going to walk you through President Biden's 4-part plan that he has released to remake Social Security that is going to affect both current beneficiaries and future beneficiaries. And then finally, I want to talk about how stimulus checks are causing some to lose Social Security benefits, and people are getting letters that they need to pay benefits that they've received back. Now, if you are new to this channel, I want to urge you to hit that subscribe button, because as you would see, all we do here is bring you the latest news and updates about anything in and out of Congress that may affect your Social Security or disability benefits. So let's jump right into it. So the first thing I want to talk about is Social Security payments date, including SSI benefits. So if you haven't received your benefit yet, stay tuned. So how does the Social Security benefits work? Well, let's walk through that very quickly. The first thing I want to talk about is Social Security and SSDI. So if you're on either of these benefits, your payments are based on your specific birth dates and on specific Wednesdays. So if your birthdays is between the 1st and the 10th of November, you will receive your Social Security or SSDI benefits on the second Wednesday of the month. If your birthday is between the 11th and the 20th, you're going to receive your benefits on the third Wednesday of the month. And if your birthday is between the 21st and the 30th of November, your Social Security or SSDI benefit are going to be sent and direct deposited on the fourth Wednesday of the month. For SSI benefit, which is Supplemental Security Income Benefits, you are paid on the first of the month unless that date falls on a weekend or a holiday. If that is the case, then you'll be paid the business day before. And some benefits are paid on the 3rd of the month if you live outside of the United States, if you receive both SSI and Social Security benefits, if your state is responsible for paying your Medicare premiums, or if you file for Social Security before 1997. All those categories of people get their benefits on the 3rd of each month. So now let's get to the specific details on when your Social Security checks will be direct deposited. So, as I mentioned, the first batch, if your birthday is between the 1st and the 10th, your Social Security and SSDI benefits were deposited on November 8th. If you didn't receive your benefits, stay tuned. I'm going to tell you exactly what you need to do to resolve that. Second, on November 15th, which is coming in a few days, if your birthday is between the 11th and the 12th, 20th of November, that is when you're going to get your benefits, on November the 15th. And then on November 22nd, those of you whose birthday is between November the 21st and November the 30th are going to get your SSDI and Social Security retirement benefits in your bank account. Now let's look at disability benefits, specifically SSI. Those were paid on November 1st for those of you who are just on SSI benefits. And if you are both on SSI and Social Security, or you live outside the United States, or your state pays your Medicare premium, or you file for Social Security before 1997, you should have received your benefits on Friday, November 3rd. So that is the update I have for you regarding Social Security benefit payments. Now let's talk about those of you who did not receive your benefit, or if your benefit hasn't arrived yet, but you go to the due date and nothing happens. Here is what you can do to resolve that issue. Number one, wait until 3 days before you take any action, because the Social Security Administration recommends that you wait 3 business days before you call them. If after 3 days the money hasn't hit your account, then give them a call at the number below, 1-800-772-1213. And then another option to reviewing your Social Security benefits to see what's happening with your payment is to log into the Social Security Administration's website. Now, you should have created an account already. So if you have a My Social Security account, then you can log in online and see what is happening with your payment and why it was delayed. There could be 2 reasons. Number 1, you may have an overpayment issue, which I'm about to talk about, and how that happens and what you can do about it. Or your benefits may have been canceled entirely because you may have violated a Social Security rule. So let's jump right into what these overpayments are about. But first, President Biden has a plan to remake Social Security next year. And it's a very important 4-part plan that is going to affect everybody and is going to change Social Security for the future. As I mentioned, if you're currently on benefits, and for those who are going to receive benefits in the future, this plan is going to impact you if it's enacted. So let's walk through what it talks about. Now, according to an estimate, Biden's plan is going to cost $273 billion to implement. So what does this plan entail? Well, let's look at the reason why there is even a need to reform Social Security. 9 out of 10 people are on Social Security benefits, and it has lifted millions of people out of poverty. But there's a demographic issue that is affecting the survivability of the Social Security program into the future. And it's as simple as this. Because of the baby boomer retirement, there are more people that are receiving benefits out of the Social Security system than are payroll taxes that are paid into it. So there's a gap, there's a shortfall, and that is a $22 trillion shortfall that, unless Congress does something about it, in 2035, part of the Social Security fund will be depleted. So the president's plan is a 4-part plan. Number 1, to increase payroll taxes on high income earners. Number 2, change the inflationary index that is used to calculate the cost of living adjustment for Social Security beneficiaries. Number 3 is increase the special minimum benefit, which is the minimum benefit that anybody that receives Social Security is allowed to get. That is like the floor. That is the minimum benefit. If you qualify for Social Security retirement benefits, there is a minimum benefit that you have to receive. Nobody can go below that. And then finally, he wants to raise the primary insurance amount, which is a baseline on top of which Social Security benefits are calculated. He wants to increase that for people aged 78 to 82, and I'll explain why that age is important. So let's jump right into details of the president's plan. The first one is he wants to increase the payroll taxes on high income earners. Why is this important? Well, Social Security system currently, as it functions, everybody making $160,200 pays about 12.5% in Social Security taxes. It used to be that on top of that, if you made $400,000 or more, you will pay additional Social Security taxes. That threshold was eliminated. So currently, if you make $160,000 or less, you're going to pay Social Security taxes on that. Or your first $160,200 is what you pay your Social Security taxes on. That's what I actually meant to say. Your first $160,200 of income is what is subject to Social Security taxes. What the president wants to do is bring back this high income level so that anybody making $400,000 or more will also pay an additional Social Security tax. So there's going to be a gap between the $160,200 and then the $400,000 and above. And so his plan is that with inflation and the national wage index being updated every year, that gap between those who pay $160,200 and the $400,000 and above will close. So at some point, everybody is going to pay Social Security taxes, and that is his plan to fix the shortfall in income coming into the Social Security fund. The second part of his plan, which I think is very important, is to change the inflation index that is used to calculate the cost of living adjustment, which a lot of seniors and people on disability depend on every year. It's kind of technically their raise. You know, when you talk about Social Security raise, it's really the cost of living adjustment. And that is pegged or tied to the consumer price index for urban wage earners and clerical workers, or CPIW. Why is this important? Well, this is a Bureau of Labor Statistics index where they look at a list of goods and services that urban wage earners and clerical workers use, and then they track the prices of those goods every third quarter and then compare it to the previous third quarter. And if prices have gone up, it means the cost of living has gone up, so then the cost of living adjustment is made accordingly. The problem with this is that urban wage earners and clerical workers are not people who are on Social Security. So we are using an index that affects people who are not on Social Security to calculate the cost of living adjustment for people who are on Social Security and disability. That is the problem. So the president's plan is to change from Consumer Price Index CPIW to a CPIE, and the E stands for elderly, to look at goods and services that are utilized by seniors age 62 and over, including healthcare, prescription drugs, so that the COLA will correctly reflect change in prices that affect seniors. I think that's a great idea. The third one is to increase the special minimum benefit. This is really, really important. If you've paid into the Social Security system and you didn't make a lot of money while you were working, if they just use the amount of money you made when you were working to calculate your benefit, a lot of people will get very small amount of money, like a very, very small Social Security check. So what the government did, or what Congress did, was create a special minimum benefit where regardless of how much you made or how little you made, you are entitled to this baseline, this bottom benefit, as long as you qualify. And as I'm going to show you in a moment, even that baseline, that special minimum benefit, is not a lot. So the president is proposing to peg that special minimum at 125% of the federal poverty level. So what does that mean? Well, the current special minimum is $1,033, which is about $12,400 a year. Next year, in 2024, it's going to go up by $33 to $1,066, which is about $12,700. It's not a lot of money. So what the president is proposing is that he would like to change or peg the special minimum benefit to 125% of the federal poverty level. As you can see in yellow, the federal poverty level is $14,580. So if you look at the special minimum benefit that I just showed you of $12,400, it is below the federal poverty level. So seniors that are receiving only the special minimum benefit are living below poverty. They're not even at the poverty level. They're living below the poverty level. That is why the president is proposing to increase the special minimum benefit to 125% of the federal poverty level. Why is that important? Well, if you calculate how much you are likely to get if this gets passed, you will go from $1,066 in 2024 to $1,518, an increase of 47% for those receiving the special minimum benefit. And that is really, really, really important. So that is, I think, one of the best parts of the president's plan. And then lastly, the fourth part of the plan is to raise the personal, the PIA, which is a baseline on which benefits are then calculated based on certain criteria that you meet. So it's kind of like the bottom floor for Social Security benefits calculation, and then based on certain factors, your benefits go up beyond that. He wants to move that bottom part for people who are aged 78 to 82, because during that the data shows that during that age, seniors experience rising costs that are associated with later in life expenses, specifically healthcare costs and prescription drugs. So the goal is to raise Social Security cumulatively by 5% for that age group so that it will help pay for expenses that they encounter during that age. Now, the president's plan is going to cost a lot of money. As I said, $273 billion by some estimates. But the issue is that there is a problem with the Social Security system, and it needs to be addressed. I released another video talking about what the Republicans in Congress are trying to do, specifically by voting on Social Security benefits going forward every year. So if you want to see what that plan is, look into the video library. It's probably one of the most recent videos that I posted. It's a very serious plan. Republicans are also in Congress. They own the House of Representatives. They are in control there. So who knows what may happen. But this is the president's plan. And the House Republicans in the House have a plan. And then the Republicans in the Senate also have a plan. And the Senate plan is to vote on Social Security every year as part of their plan. And the House plan is to raise the retirement age to 69 years. So there's a whole host of things going on, which I'm going to post another video comparing the president's plan side by side with what Republicans are proposing in Congress, in the House, and in the Senate. So that's a video. Stay tuned for that. So if you want to see that video, hit that subscribe button. And then lastly, the stimulus payments that you got, stimulus checks that were gotten during the pandemic, are leading to some people losing their Social Security benefits. Let me explain. So the Social Security Administration, for certain people, if you're especially on disability benefits, you are supposed to report certain information to the government, specifically resource limits. If you go over the resource limit, you're supposed to report it to the Social Security Administration so that they will adjust your benefit. Well, when the stimulus checks were released, people were told that it's not going to be impacting their resource limits, that they don't have to pay it back, that it was all being given to the government, by the government to the people, and it doesn't affect your Social Security or disability benefits. It turns out that is not the case because people are getting letters about it. So just to refresh your memory, the first stimulus check was $1,200 for an individual in March 2027. In March 27, 2020. The second stimulus check was for $600 in December 27, 2020. And then the third stimulus check was for $1,400 for an individual on March 11, 2021. If you add all those together, given that the resource limit for disability benefits is $2,000 per individual, you can see already that with the third check, which is $1,400, the second check, which is $600, you're already at $2,000. And then the first check is $1,200, that's $3,200. So you can easily see how somebody can go over the resource limit. But we were told, Congress told everybody that Social Security benefits were not going to be impacted by the stimulus check. Well, that's not what happened. So what's been happening is that people are getting checks in the mail, thinking that it's stimulus, they spend it, and then years later, they get a letter from the Social Security Administration saying that you exceeded the resources limit or you're making more money than you should make, and so you owe money back. Well, this is causing a lot of stress because the target of these letters are people on disability, people who are blind, elderly, with limited fixed income resources who are being informed that months later or years later, they owe money because they receive these stimulus checks. And what is the impact of this? Well, your benefits could be suspended. A part of your benefits could be taken. Your Medicaid coverage, your Medicaid benefits, which is healthcare, could be impacted or could even be canceled. And so Congress is trying to find out what is going on with this issue. And let me talk about Congress. There is a lot of bipartisan effort to try to fix this. Part of it is to increase the asset limit for SSI benefits, which has been at $2,000 for a very long time. There are advocacy groups who are trying to push back for this stimulus check clawback that the Social Security Administration is trying to do. But it all comes down to this. When you get the letter, it is real for you. You have to deal with it, and there are 3 options that you have to deal with Social Security overpayments. Number 1, appeal. Appeal means that you have 60 days to file an appeal with the Social Security Administration, making your case why this is incorrect or why you do not owe the money. Now, in the letter that you're going to receive, it's going to tell you that you should apply for the appeal in 60 days. Well, let me tell you a little secret. Within 30 days after they send you the letter, the Social Security Administration is allowed to begin collection efforts, which means that they can take a portion or all of your benefits to address the overpayment issue, regardless of how it happened. So if you want to avoid collection until the appeal is decided, then you should file your appeal within 30 days of receiving the letter. 30 days, not 60 days, if you want to stop any collection efforts, because by law, the Social Security Administration is required, as soon as they receive your appeal within 30 days, to pause all collection efforts until they've decided or made a decision on your appeal. So, what's going to happen? Well, the Social Security Administration said they are looking into what they've been doing with overpayments. Congress brought the interim head of the Social Security Administration to Congress, and there was a whole theater around it. But what came out of that hearing is that they're going to look at making changes about overpayments and how they handle it. 60 Minutes just did a story, which I recorded another video explaining details of the 60-minute story and how horrifying some of these overpayment stories are. So definitely Congress is pushing back. 60 Minutes, the news media are also highlighting stories about these overpayments. But at the end of the day, if you are impacted, take it seriously, because you cannot ignore this, because they will start taking a portion of your benefits or all of your benefits until this is cleared. So take it seriously. So in terms of updates, that is all I have for you. So if you like what you hear, if you're new to this channel, I want to urge you to hit the subscribe button. If you have any questions at all about what I covered today, ask us in the comment section below. And until I see you in the next video, thank you for watching this video.